Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for this great initiative and a very important subject, I believe. Unfortunately, I haven't got any slides to share with you, but I got to take you just back a few years during my years of the Short Sea Promotion Center project leader, which started at 2018. And I must say, when I sit now and listen to all these presentations, we have come a long way during the last 3-4 years. Because at that time, and we were at that time working closely with the Scandinavian Short Sea Promotion Center in Norway. Norway was very much ahead of, I think, the rest of Europe, absolutely including Sweden. And I was very delighted to hear the presentation from Mike, and especially about a success story, because that's exactly what we need to broadcast, I think, that we have had some success. It hasn't gone as fast as we would have liked, but we would have liked really to, we would like to see these sort of success stories that Maiken was talking about. I would just like to say a little bit first from a micro perspective that we have 3 things that I think is talking for us. We have some tailwind right now in the short sea sector and the maritime sector perhaps as a whole, in the society sector, because we have, first of all, the Industrial Revolution 4.0, which is giving us a huge opportunity with a lot of new technique and with a lot of new possibilities and opportunities. So I think that is one thing that is talking for us. The second one is the Agenda 2030 with a climate focus and us trying to commit to a fossil-free transportation world, which obviously is an enormous challenge. But where we have a possibility for change, and everybody needs that we need to change. And the third one is actually, in a way, you could say the pandemic that we've had from a humanitarian point of view, it's of course extremely tragic, but it has resulted in this sort of focus on supply chain management that we have never seen before. So in the corporations and particularly the cargo owners, we have seen that this subject that has been fairly low, on a fairly low level in many companies, has been elevated and is now elevated not only to managerial level, but boardrooms and owner involvement. And I think that's going to bring a tremendous new focus to logistics that wasn't there before. I also like to pick up a few things that I heard through the presentations here and try to put them together. First of all, I think it's fantastic to hear from Yieldport that Yieldport is turning into a sort of intermodal terminal operators. And this is from a short sea perspective. I mean, many port terminal operators has been very active in the intermodal sector, obviously, producing intermodal network because a port in itself cannot, be attractive enough. So you have to contribute to the intermodal inland network. And I see that exactly that what Yieldport has been doing with Stockholm North, which is a tremendous thing, I think, and setting a good role model for other terminals and other ports as well. Secondly, on the Oslo presentation, had a success story and also putting focus on the climate emission and the important argument that this is towards the cargo owners. Urban also mentioned the agility of the logistical department, which is obviously incredibly important, and also the tremendous practical efforts that has been done by moving over from the traditional fuel into LNG as one example. And of course, that is the big thing for the maritime industry. What sort of fuel or fuels, because it's not going to be one fuel, are we gonna run on? And then Jens started to not started, but he presented something that we didn't talk so much about, I thought, a couple of years ago, and that was the value proposition and how the value proposition was being packaged and illustrated. And I thought that slide there was really good. And as far as the emissions are concerned, he also mentioned, I believe, the very importance of using real data instead of default data. And in that respect, I'd like to say that in that respect, there was a message coming in here. In that respect, I'd like to say that I've just concluded a research project here in Sweden with Swedish cargo owners about their ability or inability to shift cargo to the short sea, intermodal short sea sector. And many of these companies have said that it is, through trustworthy emission calculations that is needed, and emission calculations on intermodal basis. And I think we have some way to go there because all the partners in the intermodal chain is not really at the same level of maturity when it comes to calculating emissions. And I think as we go forward now, we need to put some best practice cases on the table, as we've seen here, and use also other ports or other intermodal actors like truckers and so on become involved in this, because it's a matter actually of telling the customer a good story. And I think I would probably finish with that, saying that what I think is important now, we are doing so many things right, and I think we have a lot of evidence here now. What we need to do now is to package and promote this sort of storytelling. Of course, intensify all our efforts that we are doing. It goes without saying. We need to put more efforts into various areas, but in particularly package this into a sort of storytelling and bring it to the market, bring it to the cargo owners in a better way that we have been able to do. And I think there is an overconfidence in using the digital way of promoting your activities. I think the meetings and the eye to eye and flesh and blood is still a very, very important part for change. And this is about change. You have to convince people have to change. And when it is about major change, it's hard to come by with digital. So I think we need to perhaps add up our marketing resources, sales resources, work on our value proposition and package it in a nice way, because now is the time. And a lot of cargo owners are receptive. Of course, right now they have huge problem. Most cargo owners are in a sort of semi-chaos situation due to all these supply chain breakdowns that we have. But I think time is on our side. I think time is on our side. And so can we continue this sort of joint collaboration that everybody here has alluded to? And I think this initiative is a very, very good sign of that. Then I think we have a lot of tough and challenging questions ahead of us, certainly. But I think as a good team, we can move forward strongly. Thank you very much.